When it comes to Secretary of State, the candidate set to challenge Democrat Jocelyn Benson in November was picked by Republicans at their convention earlier this year. Since Christina Karamo doesn't have a challenger in her own party, her attention is already focused on Benson and what she says she would do differently if elected. She also weighed in on why she thinks voters without an ID should not be able to cast a ballot just by signing an affidavit. Take a listen.
What is motivating you right now to run for Secretary of State?
I'm motivated because the people of Michigan are tired of an election system that is full of corruption and errors and problems, and it doesn't get resolved. And people are frankly told, oh, well, there's always issues. It's not a big deal. And we're always expected to look the other way. And control over the election system is the only way that we maintain control of our government. And when I say control, let me clarify, the people controlling the election system is the only way we maintain control of our government. And the way we control the election system is by ensuring that those running the election system are running the election system lawfully.
Do you think the no request absentee ballot practice needs to go away? And then also, what's your stance on voter IDs to vote?
Yes, we have to have voter ID. And here's the thing, I'm glad you asked that question. You know, people like Benson want to push back and say it's unfair to require voter ID. Well, if not enough citizens do not have IDs, then that means Jocelyn Benson is failing miserably at her job, because it is the responsibility of the Secretary of State to issue IDs. So that is evidence in of itself we need a new Secretary of State, because people don't just need ID to vote. You need ID to have a bank account. You need an ID to have a permanent place to live. There are so many everyday activities that are necessary for being a functioning and participating adult in this society that require you to have an ID. So if we have a large swath of our population without an ID, that alone should disqualify Jocelyn Benson from ever serving as Secretary of State again. But now when it comes to unsolicited absentee ballot applications, we cannot have that happening. The reason why it's important for people to request them is because people move, people die, all types of things happen. And so if you are just mailing out these applications unsolicited, you could be mailing them out to homes where people no longer live or have disease.
What are your qualifications to run for office?
So my background is in education. I also have a master's in Christian apologetics. In our system of government, we're for the people, by the people. And being a tax-paying citizen, that qualifies me to run for office as Secretary of State. We need to have more everyday people involved in government. And so what we need are, just like our founders, just like all movements throughout history, is when everyday citizens who are committed to integrity, who are committed to truth, stand up and work for their fellow man, then positive change happens to the benefit of the people. And that's what I'm determined to do as Michigan's next Secretary of State.